Since the beginning of February, Ukrainian defense forces have carried out intense operations in the Kupiansk, Kramatorsk, and Bakhmut directions. The Phoenix unit and Magyar Birds team have relentlessly targeted Russian armored vehicles, military trucks, and ammunition depots. Artillery positions have been silenced, supply lines cut, and tanks destroyed. In the next few minutes, we'll take a closer look at some of these critical moments. Where FPV drones push the limits of range and concrete obstacles make control difficult, a fiber optic drone system comes into play. The engineers of the Magyar Birds have developed such a system that it works without any problems, even in areas completely covered with concrete up to 20 kilometers deep. So what did they find with this system? Tanks, BMPs, armored personnel carriers. In this operation, which took place in February in the Donetsk region, you see the results of the first attack. When the operation is successful, the drone operators don't even have to hide their joy. You can see the impact of the first strike. Immediately after, the Magyar Birds team sends 2 more drones to finish what they started. Their goal was to trigger a chain explosion and destroy all the vehicles inside the building. The team had gotten what they wanted. The mission had been accomplished. Look at this building. It's all engulfed in flames. 3 vehicles were hit by the drone and the fire spread to the upper floors in a short time. A tank managed to escape from the attack we just showed. But did it really get away? A drone is already in pursuit. The first strike is a direct hit, forcing the tank off the road. Now, a second drone is coming to finish the job. Exactly 6 anti-tank mines have been strapped to the tank's roof, but in the end, it will fall victim to its own explosives. The Russian soldiers evacuated the tank so quickly that one of them even dropped his helmet while fleeing. The explosion was so massive that the flames shot up as high as a 4-story building. It seems that all the explosives inside and on the tank detonated at the same time. With the force of the explosion, the turret of the tank was torn off and thrown into the air, falling several meters away. All that remained of the explosion was burnt debris and billowing clouds of smoke, leaving almost nothing of the tank. A few days after this incident, 4 Russian soldiers came on a tank and tried to land in the same area. At that very moment, the teams of the 59th Brigade crush all the dreams of the Russian soldiers. After the drone hits the tank, a big clash starts. It is an unlucky day for the soldier at the point where the drone hit. His friends leave him and continue fighting. The tank tries to escape at full speed. Although these tanks can reach speeds of 70 kilometers per hour, this speed is a funny figure compared to FPV drones. The drone catches up with the tank and hits it. The tank is hit but continues on its way. Remember this tank? The one we just showed you that was destroyed by a huge explosion. A second drone takes another hit. The tank is unable to walk. Now it's time to destroy it. This BMP has already hit a mine and is buried under the snow. Now it needs to be completely dismantled. One drone is enough to finish the job. After a while, the BMP goes up in flames. There's no going back now. In two adjacent fields, there are BMP and tanks stopped by mines. Priority is given to this BMP. One hit is enough for it. Next are the vehicles in the next field. Strangely enough, a tank and a BMP are stopped side by side. Both of their tracks are smashed. If the tank is loaded with ammunition, one drone hit should be enough to destroy them both. Of course, that's exactly what happens. And now we are faced with a chase like a movie. At the very beginning of the incident, this BTR is unaware that it is being chased by an FPV drone. After the first hit, he realizes the gravity of the situation and tries to escape at full speed. Then he gets the second hit. And the third one. Finally, he gives up and waits for the end on the edge of a wooded area. His final form is nothing more than a pile of metal. One of the most satisfying moments for drone operators is pinpoint strikes on artillery batteries. Because it takes time to move a howitzer, which makes it a perfect target. Now look at the scene on the screen. The FPV drone is closing fast, aiming directly at the gun barrel. Bullseye. On impact, the barrel of the cannon is shattered and the weapon is rendered useless. We move on to another battery. The same tactic is used here. The high-speed drone dives directly into the barrel of the cannon and hits it. Just like that, a cannon without a barrel is just a pile of scrap. Artillery batteries are known for their ability to fire long-range shots on the battlefield, but they have one drawback. They take a long time to move, making them vulnerable to drone attacks. The howitzer in the image has probably just fired and was preparing for another shot. However, things do not go as planned. The FPV drone quickly approaches, dives right at the tip of the barrel and boom! The cannon's hull may have remained intact, but the barrel is now completely unusable. This time, it's a military truck. According to the intelligence, this vehicle was going to pass exactly on this road. And the predictions were right. The FPV drone operator takes immediate action, locks on his target, and the drone quickly dives into the truck. The hit is successful. First a tremor, then smoke rising from inside the vehicle. Shortly afterwards, flames engulf the entire truck. From now on, the vehicle is just a piece of junk. It It was necessary to eliminate the signal-boosting antennas and installed camera systems of the drones of the Russian forces in the direction of Kramatorsk. Phoenix attack drone operators of the Pomsta Brigade were mobilized in the first week of February. They had to act very quickly, otherwise they could have botched the operation. One by one, the identified targets of electronic infrastructure were destroyed. Night doctors, indispensable for night operations, are bomb-dropping drones designed for silent and precise attacks. These drones are especially used to neutralize ammunition stacks hidden in forested areas. Compared to FPV drones, these systems have a longer hover time, can detect the target from above, drop their bombs, and retreat to a safe distance. During this operation, ammunition depots hidden in the forest are identified one by one. The drones then drop their payloads and leave the area. The successive explosions deal a heavy blow to the enemy's ammunition logistics. The explosions, monitored by night vision cameras, confirm that the ammunition has been completely neutralized. Military trucks driving through the forest, perhaps carrying ammunition to the front line, perhaps part of a new shipment. But Ukrainian drone operators won't allow it. Such shipments are one of the most critical elements sustaining the combat capability of Russian troops on the front line. Without fuel, ammunition, and supplies, the advance becomes impossible. This is why the movement of convoys is constantly monitored by reconnaissance drones. Flames of burning vehicles show the hard blow to enemy logistics. In the first week of February, in the direction of Kramatorsk, a total of 2 drone signal booster antennas, a security camera, a mortar, 5 military trucks, 5 military vehicles, and 4 ammunition depots of Russian troops were destroyed. In the Donetsk region, the Magyar Birds team targets and destroys Russian armored vehicles hidden in hangars and the ruins of destroyed houses. This operation took place on February 11th. Here's one of them. The team has increasingly relied on FPV drones equipped with fiber optic technology. Thanks to this, they can now conduct operations over much greater distances without interference from signal jammers. Here, we see a self-propelled artillery system. Unlike towed artillery, these systems have the advantage of mobility, allowing them to quickly reposition after firing. But even this advantage is not enough to save them from a precision drone strike. And here's a tank, another target that couldn't escape the wrath of the fiber-guided drone. With enhanced range and stability, these drones are proving to be a game-changer in the battlefield, allowing for surgical strikes on high-value targets without risking personnel. The combination of fiber optic technology and FPV drones is reshaping modern drone warfare. A personnel carrier moving along the front line. As the vehicle speeds off, the FPV drone operator takes control with a last-ditch effort, and the drone dives straight into the target. Although the moment of impact is not clearly visible on the exterior camera, it soon becomes clear that the vehicle is engulfed in flames. No turning back for enemy armored vehicles. Another target is a military truck. As the drone rapidly approaches the truck, 2 Russian soldiers in the open box try to jump out at the last moment. But it is too late. The drone crashes into the truck and explodes. At first, the impact is not visible on the external camera, but shortly after the explosion, a different reconnaissance drone gets a clear view of the burnt-out truck on the edge of the cliff. The fire is still burning. This is another blow to enemy logistics. Attacks like this are critical to weaken enemy supply lines. In particular, military trucks are used to transport ammunition and fuel, and their destruction greatly limits the operational mobility of Russian troops in the field. Likewise, since personnel carriers directly transport infantry, such losses have a negative impact on the morale and offensive capacity of frontline troops. The Phoenix unit has been actively engaging enemy forces in the Kupiansk direction since early February, successfully carrying out a series of drone strikes against Russian military assets. In these operations, a total of 2 tanks, 3 infantry fighting vehicles, 1 armored personnel carrier, 1 MTLB multi-purpose tracked vehicle, and 6 military trucks were destroyed. These strikes play a crucial role in disrupting Russian logistics, limiting their ability to resupply frontline units with ammunition, fuel, and reinforcements. The destruction of armored vehicles and transport units weakens enemy mobility, making it harder for Russian forces to execute coordinated offensives. Throughout February, Russian forces attempted to advance on various front lines in Ukraine. However, Ukrainian drone operators and artillery units responded to the enemy's moves and carried out effective offensives. During operations in Kupiansk, Kramatorsk, and Donetsk regions, many armored vehicles, military trucks, and artillery systems were destroyed. In particular, the Phoenix unit and the Magyar Birds team played a critical role in these operations. FPV drones and night doctors used in night operations targeted enemy ammunition depots, fuel stockpiles, and signaling systems. These attacks severely disrupted not only the mobility of Russian troops on the front line, but also their logistics lines. In the footage, we saw how ammunition depots hidden in the forest exploded, how military vehicles on the move were stopped, and how the logistical support of Russian troops was destroyed. But while the shape of the battle has changed, the outcome is the same. Ukrainian troops continue to make the most effective use of technology and strategic intelligence to strengthen their defenses. The Russian army is changing its tactics as it suffers losses, but Ukraine's resistance grows stronger every day. In the coming days, we will continue to report on developments on the battlefield